Hello everybody, my name is Nemo and welcome back to the TopTierTactics.com single elimination tournament. First to three wins, and this is the third round of the tournament. I'm playing against the Hassel, and before I started this tournament, I was just playing Monopoly. And you ever get really lucky with Monopoly? Because that's what happened to me. I guess Monopoly is kind of a luck game though. But I was playing Monopoly just before I started this, and I was playing against three other people, and I just got extremely lucky, where I just everything went my way in that game. So I mean, I was so lucky that I started to feel ashamed for it. Like, I started to feel like, so this is what it's like to be rich in the real life. And I don't think I want to be rich in real life. I think I would feel ashamed if I was. But that's just me. But anyways, so with all that luck I had in Monopoly, I came in here thinking, this is gonna be a breeze. This is gonna be easy. So we are playing against Obedient Dead, which of course isn't the best matchup for Peacekeepers. But so far, I don't really lose much with Peacekeepers anyway, so... I mean, he does have 4 cards I need to be careful of, namely Infest is number 1, that gets rid of all my dudes. Then there's Mutilate, gets rid of all my guys. Then there's Massacre Worm, that gets rid of all my guys. And of course there is the Tutor, which can get either one of those cards. So 4 cards that really wreck my deck. Which means, you know, every game he's bound to draw one of them. That shouldn't be good. That isn't good for me. But I don't lose often with Peacekeepers, so, and this deck is powerful enough that it can bounce back from it when that happens. I just need to make sure that I play correctly and make sure I win this. I need to win, of course. It's a single elimination tournament. If I don't win, then I lose and the tournament is over for me. So I need to beat the Hassel. That's what needs to happen here. So yeah, I am playing around the Infest and or Mutilate here a little bit. I was about to write him a message like, you know, 50-50 on the Infest or Mutilate last turn. But I was like, you know what, if he has it, I don't want to give him any ideas. Maybe he doesn't even realize. But yeah, he is at 4 mana. I'm doing math. I can bring him down to 1 life. If I attack with everything, he doesn't block. And I get the Guardian's Pledge here. So that means that just deals him a whole lot of damage. So if he doesn't have Mutilate or Corrupt, he can't, like, the other 2 cards don't work here yet. He has to get, with the Tutor, he has to get something first before, and then he can play it the same turn. Massacre Worm he doesn't have the mana for. So I'm like, you know, 50-50. Like, there's 2, let's say if you have 4 cards you're bound to draw 1. Then if you have 2 cards, it's a 50-50 chance that he has it, right? That's about how I think of it. So, since he didn't drop a land here, I'm assuming he's a little bit land screwed at least. So I'm like, yeah, you know, just get in there. I mean, I get to deal that damage now, so if he's low on life, then maybe I'll get to be able to finish him off later. And, yep. So this takes him down to, I think, 4 life, because he did block my guy. So he's in trouble, he's at 4 life, I've got a whole bunch of guys on the field, and there's the Infest. So I'm guessing he waited with it. That's my guess though. He could have top decked it, I don't know. I'm guessing he wanted to wait with it. So next bunch of dudes. There's the Captain of the Watch. And I'm like, you know, I'm in a very good position here, because this should be enough to finish this. He should just finish it. What are the odds that he also has Mutilate? But he does. Yep, and now I'm out of cards, and he has 6 in hand, and I have 1 removal spell. So this is bad. This is really bad. I mean, sometimes they get lucky, you know. Sometimes they have all the answers. You can't help it. And this brought me back down to earth after the Monopoly game. So yeah. Now I'm sitting here with 1 removal spell, and I know Obedient Dead is gonna have more than 1 threat for me. That thing itself is already a threat, and it's just a forecast guy, and he has plenty of way bigger and way scarier threats. And there's a Fume Spitter, which is really annoying against my deck. I don't consider Fume Spitter an amazing card, but against the aggressive decks it really does work well, and it's certainly a good card to sideboard in here. And that's something actually interesting about the sideboarding. I was considering, because on tournament rules it says, you know, you can sideboard between every match. Does that mean between every round of the tournament as well? It doesn't say. So I was considering, is that the case? But you know, I just think that that WiNGSPAN just didn't think of it. I do think the idea is that you can only sideboard in between matches and not in between rounds, because if I get to just sideboard before match 1, that's just not how a tournament works in Magic. That's not how it normally works, and I assume that's not how it works here. So Fiend Hunter or Journey to Nowhere, which am I gonna use on his guy? Well, he stepped out, so this is the turn to use Fiend Hunter. That's my reasoning here, because I know he's going to kill Fiend Hunter. Come on, he has 4 cards in hand. I know he's got a kill spell for it. But at least this way, like, I only want to get rid of this now, and maybe he'll have a bigger threat later. But this way I get to deal 2 damage. Well, 1 damage, since he does sack the Fume Spitter here to take less damage. But I feel like just this is the turn to use the Fiend Hunter. And Fiend Hunter, obviously, not an amazing card in this matchup, but I did decide that I wasn't going to sideboard before the round started, so that's why it's still in my deck. I actually talked about it with the Hassel, and he said, you know, it's fine, you can sideboard before the round, but I decided not to do it. I'd rather have an unfair disadvantage than an unfair advantage. That's my reasoning. You know, I'm the kind of guy that I want everything to be fair. I want to be challenged. I want things to be a challenge. Like, I don't want to lose to the other guy just getting extremely lucky. But on that same note, I don't want to win by just getting extremely lucky either. I want things to be a challenge and a game of skill. That's my. And by the way, I only attack with the Fiend Hunter here because I know he has a murder. I just know he has a murder. And if he murders my Fiend Hunter on my attack step, then I also lose my 1/1, and I'd have to sack a land because he blocks me with the Obliterator then. So I just only bring the Fiend Hunter because I just know what's going to happen. There's no way he doesn't have the murder there. So time to get rid of that Shade, because that's the thing that's dealing me more damage. And if that gets in for 1 more attack, then I'm just gone. And I don't want to block him, because this 1/1 guy might still win the game for me. There's boost in this deck. I could draw the +2/+2 to all your guys' instant spell, and that means my 1/1 would attack for 3 damage, and I could win that way. Like, it's not really likely, but what's likely here is he has Corrupt. That's what's likely, and that's what happens. And I predicted it. Alright, so I unfortunately lost match 1, and now we're going to over to the sideboarding, which will be live commentary. Alright, hello everybody, this is actually live recorded. We're off to the sideboarding. So I lost the first match, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think I'll have said my strategy in the post-production, so let's not dwell on it too much, but there's some few things I need to change. And I was actually talking to Mr. The Hassel about this pre-game, whether or not I was allowed to sideboard before match 1, and he said he'd be fine with it, but I eventually decided that, you know, I'm not gonna do that, because I'd rather have an unfair disadvantage than an unfair advantage. So yeah, pacifism is much better than Fiend Hunter here. We've already seen that Fiend Hunter, he can just murder it at instant speed and suddenly have a blocker and stuff like that. So it's really not a good card against his deck. Also, Safe Passage, not so useful. Although it does protect against Corrupt, I do think Guardian's Pledge is more useful, because it helps my creatures survive his Mutilate potentially, or his Infest, so that's more useful to me. Intrepid Hero I'm not sure about. Let's see here. I might want to include this guy. I may want to include These guys, this one, this thing, these are good. This thing only because it saves me. No, that's just bad. Alright, so guys started monks. Not as useful as Archon of Justice. I don't want to have too many mass dudes because mass dudes lose me the game against his stuff. So Dawn Elemental not so useful here. Intrepid Hero is kind of useful, kind of not too useful. If I can win early, that's good. This guy, he can't block it, so that makes it useful, but I don't think so though. I don't think it's good enough, even then. Intrepid Hero is an interesting choice. I think I'll take these out, because this one is better. So I guess I'll get rid of Intrepid Hero, man. See, the thing about his big guys is he can get them back later. But I think I need to get rid of a 2-drop though. How about if I get rid of the Squadron Hawks? That might work, but I don't think I want to do that. Now instead I'll just get rid of one of these Elite Vanguards. Alright. So I'm gonna keep with this, and I hope it's gonna be good enough. Alright, wish me luck. Alright, and that means we're back, and this is match number 2 after sideboarding against the Hassle. So I do want to apologize about the volume, or at least the quality of the sound in the sideboarding. I did record that with the Skype recording, and Skype doesn't record my voice as well as Audacity does, which I normally use. But I didn't. That's an extra program I need to use, Audacity, and I didn't want to be messing around with that during these games. I just want my focus to be on the games, so that's the reason I decided to keep it easy and record my voice with Skype, which I was already using to record games anyways. That makes it a little bit easier for me. But I mean, Skype does record my voice on the same channel that it records the game sounds, and it doesn't have as good of a quality as Audacity has for recording my voice. So that's why the quality is a little bit less good on the live recordings here. So yeah, these are not live recordings during the games. I record these after the games because I want my focus to be on the games while I'm playing those. But I did decide that I wanted to have the sideboarding be live commentary, because that makes it just easier to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's kind of hard to think exactly the same way I did while I was sideboarding when I'm talking about what I was doing while I was sideboarding, you know what I mean? So this is just the way that it's easier for me. And I'm like, of course I block here, but he doesn't bring it. I guess he doesn't want to trade his Fume Spitter for my token. And here I'm like, yeah, so I drew that Sigil of the New Dawn, which is a card I boarded in, because there's gonna be a lot of creatures I have that are gonna be killed, and I'm like, might be good to get all those creatures back. This game is probably going to be slow anyways, so I might as well use this. I've got a lot of removal here, but I can't play anything if I don't have 2 extra mana to get it back the same turn. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, Sigil is a very, very slow card. And that means I really have to slow my strategy down. This is not the way I want to be playing against a deck that wins when it's slower. So maybe Sigil isn't the best card to include here, but I'm gonna go with the strategy right now. I'm gonna go with it. I'm not playing anything here. If I'm not playing anything here though, I drop down to 11, and then if you drop some more guys, I might be in big trouble. But I do have the removal for those more guys that he could play. In fact, I have all the removal in the world, and I don't want to be using that removal on 1/1s and 2/1s and stuff like that. I know he has a lot of guys out there, and it's scary, but I really don't want to deal with it like that. So I also don't want to play my big guy, because I know he kills it. I get to exile one of his guys, and then that's it, you know. Then I don't have any threats. So if I wait until I have 7 mana though, I get to play that and have threats. But there's another threat of his that I really do need to deal with. So I do need to deal with the Shade, but it's cool because I deal with that, and then I draw a land, and then I'm good. You know, then I can play my threat and have mana open to get it back. However, I'm at 11 life. So I deal with the shade here. That still means, since I didn't draw a land here, I go to 7. I go to 7 life, and that is dangerously close to corrupt range. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be at that position. I don't want to lose to sudden corrupt, you know? Corrupt all of a sudden. I don't want to lose to that. So, I don't like it, but I have to use an Oblivion Ring on his 2-1 guy that already got advantage on me because it killed something when it came in. I guess that's just the way it is. And that means I use 2 of my removal spells on less than ideal creatures. Like, he has way bigger threats, and there's one right now. Grave Titan, which, since it brings 2 more guys, like I could get rid of the Grave Titan, but then I still take 6 damage. And that means I'm really in trouble here. Really in trouble. 6 damage is too much damage. I can't take 6 damage. But I also can't deal with... I can't do anything about it. You know, and my Intrepid hero, I drew it too late. It's not gonna be useful anymore. But if I drew it earlier, he would have killed it with his Fume Spitter and the other guy. And I'm assuming he boarded those in. You know? At least the 1-1 crab guys. I talked to him later, in fact, and he did admit he boarded those in against my deck. So that's a good sideboard for him to make. Because it just stops Intrepid hero and stuff like that. He can just sack it and get rid of my Intrepid hero here. Like, I can't even use that. And even if that wasn't the case, again, it came too late anyway. I drew it too late. There's no use for it. So, I'm in big trouble. That's the gist of it. But if he doesn't play anything here, like, I can at least trade my Intrepid hero for his 1-1, for his Fume Spitter, which is what I want to do anyway. Then I take 5 damage. I go to 4. I play a guy, and then I can block one of his zombies. He hits me for another 3. I go to 1. I may be able to draw my way out of that, if he has nothing else. But he has 4 cards in hand, obviously. So, yeah, I was gonna make that trade with the Fume Spitter anyway. In fact, I wanted to make that trade way earlier, so I wouldn't have been taking all the damage from it. But unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards for me. And there's another Fume Spitter. Yeah. Like, his guys aren't even big enough to kill my Archon of Justice. Which I brought in because his guys in his deck should be big. And it should help against those big guys. But of course, you know, he brought in some small guys to deal with that. So that's the way it works when you sideboard, isn't it? That's how it works. But either way, it could have gone either way. But I do want to mention, game 1, I got a lot of small guys and he had the mass removal. Game 2, I didn't have him a lot of small guys, but he had a lot of small guys, which I couldn't deal with. So that's it. Over to sideboarding. Alright, back for more sideboarding. Losing twice in a row, not so good. Not really happy there. That was a very slow hand, and the Sigil of the New Dawn is a little bit too slow for my liking here. I think I'll rather just add one of these Elgard Inquisitors, I think. Because these guys, when they die, they make a bunch of guys. I do think I want one of the Geist Honored Monks and one of these. That's what I'm thinking now. Because I just needed dudes last game, and I didn't have them. And then the first game, I had the dudes and he had the mass removal. So I need to be versatile. I need to be able to deal with both situations. So I need a little bit of both. Intrepid hero. He runs all those Fume Spitters, so it's not gonna work. Intrepid hero is not going to work well. This guy is coming in. Loyal Sentry, no. That guy is not so good. Right, this seems reasonable. I don't think there's a better way to do this. And the Sun Titan, I think I definitely need it. He's going to kill at least something. Although I can't get my enchantments back, and the enchantments Like, I can get these things back. None of this though. I can get this back. I can get a Squadron Hawk. I can get this. Yeah, there's plenty to get back with Sun Titan, even if I don't get my enchantments. Alright, I'm keeping the Sun Titan in. Wish me luck again. Alright, match number 3. We need to turn this around right now against the Hassle. Because he's been winning too much. This is not what I'm used to from the Peacekeepers deck. I have played a bunch of games against Obedient Dead before. And I know it's probably a bad matchup, but I mean, I'm usually able to just win anyway. Of course, I'm used to playing against. I mean, I play plenty of games against good players, but just not consistently against good players. I'm usually better than the opposition, and I consider the Hassle to be a good player. So basically, when two good players battle each other, it's all about the luck. Then, if you both have the skill, then the only thing left is the luck, right? And the thing is, he's playing a good deck, and a deck that has an advantage against my deck. Let's put it that way. There's 4 cards with mass removal. Well, 3 cards, but 1 tutor, so that's 4 cards. There's plenty of chance for him to get the mass removal he needs to deal with my guys. And he started this game again, so that's sad for me. I want to get in there early. There's a Sign in Blood again. He has the card advantage as well. So yeah, and he's been getting lucky, and I have been getting quite unlucky the past 2 games. So I mean, at least equally skilled player, who's running a deck that beats my deck traditionally. And he's been getting lucky, I've not been getting lucky. That's what it comes down to. That's why I lost both of the previous matches. That's what's been happening. So I need luck. I need luck on my side. I need to channel that luck I had with the Monopoly game. I need to get that back. I need to get that back on my side. And I need to win with luck. And skill. I need to use my wits. But I also need to get lucky. So, I mean, it could happen. It could definitely happen. Last game, all I needed was the free cast thing that... actually, both of the previous games, all I needed was the free cast thing that buffs my guys +2/+2 to finish them off. This game, again, that may be useful. I don't know. We need to get the right cards. That's what it comes down to. I haven't drawn my 4-drops either in the previous games. I want some of those 4-drops. I want some of those cards I sided in. I want them on the right times and not on the wrong times when it doesn't work. When I'm too late with it. Because his deck, he has the strategy to win with big creatures. He also has the strategy to win with small creatures and getting rid of my guys. It may be that he really did sideboard so far that he isn't running many of those big guys. That I sideboarded my deck to work against, and that could be what's really losing me this game here, is because I sideboard in the guys that can help against his big guys, and then he's running a bunch of small dudes. Could be, and if so, that's a really good strategy. From what I've seen of his deck, that could definitely be the case. Of course, he still has Massacre Worm though, but Massacre Worm is amazing. Speaking of Massacre Worm, what do you think he gets with this Diabolic Shooter? I mean, that's my guess, right? I'm just like, alright, so he gets Massacre Worm. I attack him for 4, I take him down to 11. If I drop my Squadron Hawk, he plays Massacre Worm. I take 6 damage, I go down to 9. He attacks me for 1, I go down to 8. I lose all of my creatures, I got nothing. So what do? Do I drop my Squadron Hawk there? No, because he's just going to Massacre Worm it. So I guess I just play a removal on that thing, because I need to get rid of that anyway. And then just pass the turn and know I lose both my Squadron Hawks here to his Massacre Worm. And yeah, and then I play my other Squadron Hawk, and maybe somehow I'll be able to get lucky with that and be able to finish him. I mean, I still need to draw more cards, and still need to draw more useful cards as well. But he passed his first main phase, and I'm like, well, what? You didn't get Massacre Worm? Come on, you've got Massacre Worm. I know you do. So, he's just probably getting greedy now. He's waiting to see me drop more guys for his Massacre Worm to kill. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah. That's sad. I don't want that. So instead he drops Grave Titan. And now I'm in a pickle, because either I play more guys and be able to defend myself against Grave Titan, or and then I lose to Massacre Worm, or you know. But I know he has that Massacre Worm because he played Diabolic Tutor. There's no way he didn't get Massacre Worm. I just know this. That's just the card you get against Peacekeepers. That's just obvious to me. So yeah, I can't play more guys into that Massacre Worm because it only means I take more damage. So yeah, I'm taking 4 damage from the zombies, going down to 11. And I'm assuming this is when he probably plays Massacre Worm. I take him 4 more damage, go down to 7. Then I don't have dudes. But instead he plays Fume Spitter. So I'm like, where's the Massacre Worm? Come on, buddy, I know you have it. He plays this, gets rid of my... puts a -1/-1 counter on my Squadron Hawk. Gets rid of the other one with the Fume Spitter. Passes the turn. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Where's the Massacre Worm? Now I'm like, well, in the meantime, I'm taking 5 damage, at least. And 7 if he has Massacre Worm. And all my guys will be gone. I'll play 2 guys, I'll still have those things and the Massacre Worm, and I probably lose then anyway. So at this point I need to just pretty much assume I lose if he has Massacre Worm. That's pretty much what I need to assume here, or I need to play something or deal with something at least, because I just lose otherwise. So I'll play one guy here and hope that he doesn't have Massacre Worm, because I'm taking 4 plus 5 is 9. If he does have Massacre Worm, then I'm just dead the next turn, and there's nothing I can top deck then. That'll save me. But this way, I've got 5 damage on the board. If he doesn't have Massacre Worm, I may be able to get rid of one of his... I may be able to somehow get rid of his last blocker and then swing for lethal. But he does have the Massacre Worm, and he was just waiting patiently. He was waiting very, very patiently. I asked him later, and he said he was assuming that I had the free cast +2/+2 buff spell at instant speed, which I held free mana open at least all this time because I wasn't playing my guys into his Massacre Worm. So I guess that's a logical assumption for him, and that's why he wasn't playing his Massacre Worm until now. But either way, even though I didn't have that card, it was still good of him to not play the Massacre Worm soon enough, because that meant I couldn't play my creatures, and that meant I couldn't get in for the lethal damage in any way, because, that's just the way it went. I had to play my creatures eventually, and then I lost them to Massacre Worm anyways. Yeah, so like I'm chatting right there was no way to play around the Massacre Worm well. I mean, there's a way to play around it and hope that a bad player makes a mistake and plays it early enough that I can still maybe win. But of course, he waited long enough that I just couldn't deal with it. Because I needed him to play it early. I needed him to play it that same turn. I mean, the turn after he tutored for it. And then maybe I could have still won by playing more guys right after and using those to raise him for damage. But that isn't what happened, and that's why I lost this game, this match, and indeed this round and the tournament. And I'm out. That's 3 wins for the hassle. And that brings me to my conclusion on this whole thing. I had a lot of fun with this tournament. I would definitely play another one. But I did learn one thing, and that is, don't half the hassle. Guys, my name's been Nemo. My name will still be Nemo in the next video. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time, and hopefully indeed in another tournament as well. I thought my Peacekeepers were undefeatable. I got proven wrong. And I congratulated him on his win, and indeed I shall still congratulate him on his win again, in case he watches this. He did say he watched some videos on my channel and knew what I was running, so he was able to sideboard against that. Again, I'm not sure, but it could very well be that all he had was the Grave Titan and Massacre for big guys, and otherwise just small dudes, because he assumed I would sideboard in cards to deal with his big guys, and then he would win with the small dudes. I don't know if that's the case, but that may be what it sort of seemed like. Or I just got unlucky and he just drew the small guys when I had the strategy to defeat his big guys. That could also be the case. I don't know. Either way, I'll see you next time. And thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.